video game is absolutely one of a kind. There is no doubt about that.
Phew! That's what happens when you mix C4 with a bean burrito.
Now, of course, if you've played any other superhero games, you know that superhero titles usually present tons and tons of costumes for you to use as you make your way through the game. And the Deadpool video game is no different. Well, sorry, it's kind of different in the sense that for whatever reason, they chose to not actually allow you to wear new costumes within the main campaign, instead only allowing you to wear a bunch of costumes, some of which are actually really cool, but they only relegate it to the challenges mode, which is a bit of a head scratcher, at least for me personally. I don't really know why they chose to go in that direction. Nevertheless, though, that would be a discussion for a whole nother time. Instead, let's shift our attention to the costumes that are in the game, and I'm looking forward to hear what you guys think of all of them, because I will be showcasing every single one in this video. Yes, even the ones that used to be GameStop pre-order exclusive suits. So stay tuned for that. And of course, if you guys do enjoy today's video, please consider leaving a like here on YouTube. Thank you so very much for your support. Do keep in mind that these costumes are only available to you once you go into your challenges mode and you complete the bronze, silver, gold challenges, then unlocking the infinite mode where you can use these new costumes. And we kick things off with the dancing Deadpool, the one and only that is known as a Ballerina Pool. Now, this is actually a reference to an actual costume that Deadpool wore on the cover of Deadpool number 58 all the way back in the 2008 series of the Deadpool comic books. And good googly moogly, if you love ballet and you love to dance, you will most certainly be happy with this design. Now, one of the coolest things about the outfits in the game as a whole is that they don't actually just change the outfits. Instead, not only do you get the outfit change, but then in addition to that, they oftentimes will actually change the weapons that Deadpool is holding, both the long-ranged weapons and the close-range weapons. So in this case, his swords, or the katanas that he is so very well known for, are actually replaced by wands. So you can use magic wands to deal damage. Now, it won't actually give you any unique animations or anything like that. You'll still be using your regular swords essentially, but they will just simply be reskinned to look like the magic wands. The next one is for all of you X-Men fans, because yes, indeed, they did bring in the Deadpool X-Men costume with the classic yellow and blue color scheme. Of course, I've always loved that Deadpool still maintains his red and black mask, because he was like, listen, I'm gonna join the X-Men and I'm gonna wear this goofy outfit that you guys all wear, but I'm still rocking the black and red for the face mask. Now, there are no weapon changes for this costume, instead keeping everything the way that it was for the regular suit that you play as during the entirety of the game. However, it is still pretty cool to see Deadpool wearing that classic yellow and blue costume, as well as, of course, rocking the X-Men logo on the chest. For the next costume, we're doing a little bit of time traveling, heading back in time, because this right here is, of course, classic Deadpool, sporting that silver bandolier design over the torso, which is very uncommon in today's designs for Deadpool, but it is what Deadpool looked like, and I do like the tip of the cap to the historical design for Deadpool. It is obviously inaccurate, at least to a certain extent, that he comes along with two rubber chickens as his melee weapons now. Yes, indeed, his katanas have been replaced by rubber chickens. Now, fortunately enough for you, in terms of actual damage and gameplay side of things, they still function like the katanas do, so you still can do plenty of damage to your foes, but I can't imagine how embarrassing it would be if you were one of Deadpool's enemies and you have to say that he defeated you by using a pair of rubber chickens. The next outfit is the Maid Deadpool. Yes, if you've ever wanted to see Deadpool in a French maid outfit, it is now available to you to play as in the Deadpool video game. I mean, I can't believe I just said that sentence, but also, to be fair, that is the sort of shenanigans that you expect from a Deadpool video game. Now, one of the coolest details about this one is that this time, instead of switching up the katanas, they actually turned Deadpool's size into feather dusters, which I guess fits well with the motif of the Maid idea. And yes, for those of you that are wondering, Deadpool did actually wear this type of costume in the comics in, I believe it was issue number 20 of the Daniel Way Deadpool comic book series. Next up, we have a very unique one because this is the pirate hat Deadpool. Now, unfortunately, this one is not that exciting because it's literally just the regular Deadpool costume, but he's wearing a pirate hat. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because Deadpool did have a sick looking pirate costume at one point in the comics, which you can see right here on the cover of Deadpool number 14. I mean, it's just a really cool design, and I kind of wish that they would have gone all the way and given us this design, but instead we only pretty much get the pirate hat. It's also kind of unique in the sense that it is the one costume that is playable in this mini game sort of thing, which is known as Deadpool's Carnival. And interestingly enough, unlike the other suits that required you to unlock the bronze challenge, the silver challenge, the gold challenge, and then of course infinite mode, with this one the only option that is available to you is infinite mode, so you can just play it right away.
Now be honest. I'm not the only one with a little bit of shit in their pants right now, am I?
For the next one, we're headed to the ultimate level, which, by the way, Ultimate Deadpool does not just appear in his own game, but he actually appeared in another superhero game. If you know which one, let me know down in the comments section below. Nevertheless, back to the topic at hand. We have Ultimate Deadpool, which is a costume that I actually initially did not really like at all, but over time has grown on me, and I do have an appreciation for this one. I also do really love that this costume includes the molten swords, which look super duper sick and just so unique compared to all his other weapons. And you can kind of take them more seriously than the ridiculous rubber chickens that we saw before. Here you have some really cool weapons for Deadpool to wield instead of his katanas. Now, what's better than one X-Man costume that we saw a little earlier? Well, that would be two X-Man costumes. And here we have Deadpool rocking the same exact costume that he wore all the way back in issue 8 of Deadpool and Cable, which, fun fact, that series was actually originally called Cable and Deadpool, but was later renamed just because Deadpool is such a popular character now. And the interesting thing about this suit is that for the very first time, we see an adjustment to his long-range weapons, because here we actually see that the pistols are now gold plated, and it seems like a lot of his weapons in general are kind of, aesthetically speaking, are seemingly gold plated. And in addition to that, the hammers have actually been changed out completely, so you have a completely different character model, or I guess weapon model, for the hammer weapon for Deadpool to utilize. The next one is one of the most unique costumes in the entire game. If you're a fan of Gordon Ramsay, you'll definitely be a fan of this one, because this is Chef Pool, or I guess Deadpool as a chef, which sounds like an absolute nightmare. I don't think anyone would want to actually eat anything that Deadpool ever cooks. Now, with that in mind though, the skin itself is very unique for a multitude of reasons. First and foremost, we have the return of the rubber chickens, but this time they actually replace the Psy weapon. So instead of Psys, he actually has the rubber chickens, but in addition to that, we have some spatulas. So Broski's out here like SpongeBob SquarePants, ready to flip some Krabby Patties using the spatulas instead of his katanas. Then, of course, he has the chef's hat. And interestingly enough, it is the only Deadpool skin in this entire lineup that is actually unmasked. Now, the next two skins originally were actually exclusives if you had pre-ordered the game at GameStop. Fortunately enough, when they re-released the game on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, we actually all got to play as these skins. So we kicked things off with one of my personal favorite versions of Deadpool in general. It's not necessarily my favorite costumes, but it is a very cool variant on the character, and that would be when he joined the X-Force, or more specifically, the Uncanny X-Force. This is a really cool redesign. Obviously, the black and gray color scheme for the X-Force team is definitely quite iconic, and it looks pretty good in the game as well. And the last skin on deck is indeed going to be D-Pooly. D-Pooly. And if you're wondering, this is actually not a made-up design. It actually has appeared in the comic book universe as well, so it gives it a little bit more, I guess, legitimacy and credibility. In addition to that, the unique thing about this one is that you do get some bling, not just around the neck of Deadpool, but also the pistols are now gold-plated, as they were with a previous design for the X-Men that we talked about. But in addition to that, the katanas are clearly gold-plated as well. Beyond that, the other weapons are identical to what you have with most of your variants of Deadpool, so no changes on that front. But again, definitely a cool and fun character to add into the lineup. And so with that in mind, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up today's showcase of all 10 of Deadpool's costumes within the Deadpool video game. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like here on YouTube. Thank you so very much for your support. In addition to that, let me know down in the comment section below which of the 10 costumes is your personal favorite. And of course, yes, I agree, they should have made these playable in the main game itself. Now, if you'd like to see the campaign for the Deadpool video game, check out the video you're currently seeing on your screen and enjoy the chaotic ride that is the Deadpool video game.